two ways that you can have content in Blackboard. The first way is going to be folders, where you will put content into your class, much like a regular folder that you do on a computer. And then you have the option to use what are called learning modules. First thing that you want to do is decide by looking at these two particular items, which is folders and learning modules. The icon here is going to give you an indication of what it is. The little book with the divider tabs is going to be your learning modules, and the folders are going to be folders. Duh. Good one, Kyle. Well, it's kind of one of the very few icons that I actually have a name that actually matches the name, so it's kind of cool. So I'm going to go into student preview mode just to show you what this looks like from a student perspective. Your perspective is going to look different because you're going to be actually uploading and building content, but students will see something slightly different. When a student goes into a learning module for a particular week, what will happen is that in between the course menu and the content area, you will see a table of contents. And all of the materials in that particular learning module will be located on that table of contents. You can put items into folders within the learning module to separate out the difference between, say, your lecture and your multimedia. Now, this is a folder, and the reason that there's nothing appearing right here is that there's no, you can put actual like language on the folder that says something when you're putting your content in, or you can leave it blank so this just says lecture like this. You can go ahead and click through where it says week 1 lecture, and the students will click through. So if you notice here, I'm on the screen, here's my sample lecture. And then a student clicks through the next thing, which is the course outline overview. And here's an example of a course outline. And let me expand my window for a second, and there we go. So now you'll see a sample course outline. So students go through the lecture and they see lecture 1, 2, 3. Then there might be a multimedia folder, and if there's any multimedia in here, it'll be located, or you can choose not to have multimedia as well. In terms of readings, you can put all your PDFs, materials, any information here. So for example, introductions to readings, you can create an item that explains what chapters they have to read in the book, or you can put PDFs in the reading section that they come to, and a PDF will appear. You can have a welcome to the discussion board that is available. Excuse me. And so as you're building this out, you will determine, I have assignments, I have discussions, I have papers, I have a quiz. You can actually separate out the materials by using folders, and then put all of your content into the folders, so that as people come to lectures, all of the lectures are in this folder, all of the readings in this folder. Now, I'm going to be honest and say that my preference is actually learning modules. I really like the aesthetic of it, and the organizational structure. That is available, and so and that things appear on the screen as they do, so you see this marked reviewed thing. Since this is the first time I'm coming back into this again, I can click on my marked reviewed. So that's what a learning module looks like. If we go back to the weekly unit content, you're going to see a unit area, and this is the same principle. You'd have a series of folders where you would put your content in based on what it is, and then you can have a welcome to the week. So for example, you'd have a welcome document, and then a weekly content, reading, supplemental material, multimedia, and it's kind of up to you. You can also choose to use a folder and then just put everything straight down the page if you want to. You can also do that with learning modules. We just encourage to do some type of separation of content, so A, to not cause confusion to students, B, that it actually helps with the navigation of the class a little bit. If students are done reading and they just want to keep coming to the discussion, they can either come to the course menu discussion, or they just can come to the discussion folder in the unit. But if they have to keep finding the discussion amongst a bunch of stuff, it usually gets very confusing for students. So that's just to let you know that in terms of discussions, in terms of learning modules versus folder, the biggest difference is that a folder is just going to present everything there, and students have to click through the content. So if you'll see here, they'll have to keep clicking through and opening this content. They have to go backwards and click through it. This is also why I prefer learning modules, that I don't like to click through and click back and open my window. If I go through a learning module, I'm just going to be in the learning module, and I click through and everything appears on the right-hand side. And so students aren't having extra tabs open, things aren't going all over the place. When you do have a website, your website will actually open in another tab. It will not open in this window. And so that's just one caveat. So let me just show you a couple quick things. Both are built the exact same way. It's just determining which aesthetic you like. You're going to come into your weekly unit content. Also, just to let you know, what you can choose to do is, for example, say you're going to use unit content and you're going to use unit language. You can always come in and edit this so that it says unit content. And so the students know that that's the unit content or the course content or whatever the case might be. I have a welcome to the week. I have a readings folder, a discussions, I have an assignments, and I have a supplemental. I'm actually going to have like course videos for them to watch. So what I can do is come into my learning module and I will go to build content and I can come to where it says content folder. This is going to let me build a folder inside my learning module to help with my structure. So if I come in here and I say video, and I'm going to say that this is where videos will be each week. And I go ahead and hit submit. It's going to create me a folder with a little piece of description on it, and then I can move it to wherever I want. So I want it to actually be in the reading section. So I have a readings folder, a class videos folder, a discussions folder, an assignments folder, and a supplemental material. Now, if I'm only going to have one midterm exam, I might choose to put the midterm exam in the folder later on, or I can have a document that just says there are no quizzes this week or no midterm exams. You can talk about that. If you're going to do quizzes on a regular basis, you might want to have a quiz folder or something that indicates that there is a quiz. Now, where I'm going to stop you is that once you make this structure up, and you're going to have here readings, and then course videos, discussions, assignments. If you like this format and you plan to use this format every week, you're going to leave this area. You're going to come back into your unit content and you're going to see your week 2 here. You like your structure and you don't want to have to recreate it every time. You will come to your action link, the downward arrow, and you will go to where it says copy. You're going to click on copy. You're going to have your class that you're in, your destination folder. You're going to select unit content or weekly content, whichever you called it. And then it says create links for items which cannot be copied, and you'll say yes, but that you're just making folders right now, so that's not an issue. And then you're not creating, you're not bringing multiple, you're not copying an already pre-designed with web links and PDFs and all of that stuff in there. So you can just go ahead and click on submit. When you do this, it's going to create you a second week 2. So what'll happen is that you'll have your materials in here, and this will be the same exact layout that you just created. See, this week 2 is the same as the other week 2. I'm going to come back to unit content. When I come into here, I can click on this really quickly and edit it and call it week 3. And so now I have week 1, week 2, week 3. And I can just simply keep copying this over and over again before I start uploading my content. Oh, and I actually put in the wrong one. I want course content. And now I have a second week 3. I click on it, I edit it, I do week 4, and now I have all my weeks started. Additionally, if I want to, I can edit this and I can make it available so that Unit 1 opens up on July 1st at midnight. And so I don't even have to worry. It's just automatically going to be made available on July 1st at 12 a.m. So I don't have to worry about anything. And then if I wanted week 2, or this is going to be unit 2. So if I wanted unit 2 to be available the following week, or actually I want that to be available on the 15th because the first day of classes is the 8th. So this is actually officially the second week of classes. This will not show up to your students until July 15th at 11:16, which I'd probably edit that to be midnight. So you can hide all your content, you can copy your content, and you can have that available. Same thing you're going to want to do with your folders. So if I'm in a folder and I want to create a new one, I can either use the pre-existing one that I have, and I can just go ahead and edit the titles that I want, the one that we give you in the system. Or I can create my own by coming here to Content folder and creating Unit 1A. And I could name this, and so this is Introductory Material. So now I have introductory material. I can come in here and I could just continue to add a folder, add another folder, add another folder. So I can go here and do readings, submit, and the materials will show up here. If I want to have an item that's a welcome every week, I could do a welcome to the class or to week, and then I don't put a number there, or sorry, welcome to unit here. And so now I have a welcome to the unit. I'd have a bunch of folders in here. And when I'm all set, I can just duplicate this unit over and over again by copying it. So that's just an option that's available to you. So you have the choice to use learning modules, or you have that option to use folders. It's up to you. Just encourage you to use the same type of structure format that is available.